It's the mad professor in the house. The mad professor is in the house, baby. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's up, brothers? What's up, brothers? What's up, brothers? It is Friday night. It is Friday night, my brothers. Yes, it is March 25th, 2022. March 5th, 2022, and my clock says that it is 6:08 p.m. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all brothers holler at me. Y'all brothers holler at me. We are live tonight. I am so good to be here with you all. I haven't done a live stream in a few weeks. Took some time off, just needed to chill and get my bearings and everything, and also have me some fun to engage in BMH. Black men's happiness. Black men's happiness. Y'all have seen rather the most recent uploads, my brother, that are on this channel right here. And I want to say to you, my brothers, peace and blessings to you. I want to say to you, my brothers, that it is so important. It is so important, my guys, for you all to engage in those things that bring you pleasure and joy. It is important for you, my brothers, to have balance in your life. It is important, my brothers, for you to not to be overwhelmed, not to be overtaken, to not be totally thrown off your square by the things that we go through in the world as Afro-American men in the United States. And what I want to say to my brothers here in the United States, I want to say to my brothers who are in the United Kingdom, to my brothers who are on the continent of Africa, all 54 countries, to my brothers who reside in the Caribbean, to my brothers who are in South America, my brothers who are in Central America, my brothers who are all over the world, all over the non-Western world, all over the Western world, my man. So if you are in Australia, we give a shout out to you. If you happen to be a black person, a black man in New Zealand, I give a shout out to you. If you are in Amsterdam, if you find yourself in the Netherlands, if you are in France, I give a shout out to you, all of the brothers. If you are in the Philippines, if you are in Thailand, if you are in Vietnam, man, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. My message to you, my guys, is to maximize happiness. Maximize happiness. It's important, brothers, that you place happiness over pain. You place happiness over sorrow. You place happiness over discontent. You place happiness over ratchetness. You place happiness at the top of your agenda. You understand what I'm saying? If you have a job, you brothers, you guys who work a 9 to 5, and you are busting your behinds, you making $15 an hour, you're making $20 an hour, $30 an hour, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need to have some balance in your life. You got to get out of the house. You got to get out of the house. You got to get out of the house. And all you brothers who are making over $30,000 a year, over $30,000 a year, You brothers who are making 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. It doesn't matter how much money you are making, $100,000, $200,000 a year. You understand what I'm saying? All work, he said, if you are all work and you are no play, you are simply depriving yourself. You are simply missing out on the joys of life. And there are things to enjoy in life. And I'm gonna say this to y'all, and I'm gonna say this over and 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 over again. I see you, Ron Matthews. What's going on? What's going on? We deal with a lot of heavy stuff, man. We deal with so much heaviness in the black manosphere. And the reason why we deal with so much heaviness in the black manosphere, what's going on, Antoine Hooks? I see you, my brothers. The reason why we deal so much heaviness, man, because we're black men, because we are a targeted population. We deal with heaviness because we are still dealing with the legacy of slavery. We are still dealing with the impact of Jim Crow. We are dealing with the impact of more than 5 decades of policies that are anti-black male in nature, which have been implemented since 1970. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about those family court policies. We're talking about, you're talking about the welfare state. You're talking about the criminal justice system. And we're talking about those informal policies. We call them de facto policies. That is, those understandings among those who are not black men, whereby black men are not supposed to be incorporated. Black men are not supposed to be integrated into the mainstream of American society, but i.e., white capitalism. All right. And so, my guys, we deal with a lot of heaviness. Some of us have been raised and we have been conditioned by abject situations in poverty, restraints. We came up, very hard, didn't have the benefit of a father. Some of us had the benefit of a father. I'm going to say this. Some of us had the benefit of a father, but daddy, for whatever reason, was weak. Daddy was weak. He 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 was weak. Daddy did not have any real authority in the home. Daddy did not have a lot of say in how he reared his children. And to be honest with you, Daddy was he was impeded. He was impeded by his wife, who was the boss, who was the gynarch, who was the matriarch, who, just basically did what other women did. What's up, hybrid ninja? I see you, my brother. A woman who did what generations and generations of women have done since the age of slavery, and that is to usurp authority over a black male figurehead. So there are brothers who have been raised by fathers, but you still had to figure this thing out for yourself. What's up? You had to figure this thing out for yourself. Please like the channel. Please like the channel. Please like the channel. I see you, hybrid ninja. I see you, my brother. I see you pound for pound. I see you pound for pound. Y'all put that one in the chat if y'all can hear me loud and clear. Go on ahead and put that one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Some of us did not have fathers, and some of us had weak daddies. We had weak daddies. It is what it is. And we have had to overcome the condition that circumscribed our very lives. Hostility. And we have these channels, brothers. I see you. Thank you, Rashid. And we have these channels. We have this thing called the Black Manosphere. This Black Manosphere, which was made possible thanks to people like Bill Gates, people like Steve Jobs, people like Steve Wozniak. We give a shout out to all of those people and all of the tech heads. Oh, I got to give a shout out to NASA. I got to give a shout out to NASA because NASA is the reason why. NASA is the reason why we have an internet. That's the reason. NASA. The space age is what produced the internet. Oh, yeah. And just think about this. Just think about this. YouTube comes along around 2008. It comes around in 2008, and it opens up an entire new space, not an entire new space of communication for the world, not just for black men, but for the entire world. I see you, Ray Knowles. I see you, Excalibur. Ghetto Owls of 49. I see you, man. I see you, Rashid Barnes. I see you, brother. I'm glad that you guys are with me tonight. This is the intro. This is the intro. This is the prelude to a conversation that we got to have. We got to have. Let me tell you guys, before I came online, before I fired this thing up, before I went live, I was listening. I was listening to California Love. I was listening to California Love. California Love. Y'all know that classic song. Y'all know that classic song by the genius, the brilliant, the inimitable Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre and the legendary poet by the name of Tupac Shakur. That song that was made shortly after Tupac Shakur had spent some time in Clinton Correctional Facility up in New York State, all right. And Tupac put that song on that double album called All Eyes on Me. And I was listening to it, and I've been jamming it, and I've been jamming it, jamming it, jamming it, jamming it. California Love. Y'all know that song. California Love. Y'all know how I go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, we gotta talk tonight. We gotta talk tonight. We gotta talk tonight. But let me finish what I'm saying about happiness. I want to finish what I'm saying about happiness, BMH. So y'all know I live in the state of North Carolina. I live here in the state of North Carolina. Y'all share, y'all like the stream. If you're listening for the very first time, I need you guys to subscribe. What's up, Art New Style? I see you, Art. I see you, Delano. Mr. GG Zero Money Down. I see you, my brother. That's right. I am back. 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 We are in the house. That's right. We are in the house, man. I live in the North Carolina, man. And let me tell you something. North Carolina is a rising state in the Union. It is a rising state. Let me tell you something, my brothers. Let me tell you something, my brothers. America has been shaped. Thank you, Rashid Barnes. Thank you, Rashid Bombs. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Rashid, we're gonna talk about TLA, and we're gonna talk about everything that TLA talked about. We're gonna talk about all of it. We're gonna talk about all of it. We're gonna talk about all of it. Oh yes, 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 oh yes. We're gonna talk about it. I live in the state of North Carolina, brothers. I live in the state of North Carolina. And here's the deal. The two most impactful states in America are the state of California and the state of New York City. The state of California and the state of New York City. Yeah, I said that the state of New York City. Not the state of New York, but the state of New York City, NYC, with all the boroughs. Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, Harlem, everything. You know, the state of New York City. All right, those have been the major centers of the United States for a long, long time. And if you pay attention to economics, if you pay attention to what is going on, if you pay attention to the landscape, if you pay attention to what's happening in the United States, if you pay attention, my brothers, you will know. Let me just turn this thing on right here, man. If you all have been paying attention, you will know that New York City is on the decline. New York City is on the decline. California is also on the decline. People are leaving New York City left and right. People are leaving California left and right. And people are leaving California and New York City because it's becoming too expensive to live. It's too expensive to live in those states if you are a working class person, If you are a lower middle class person, hell, if you are a middle class person, it is too expensive to live in New York City. It is too expensive to live in the state of California. So people are leaving, they are migrating, they're getting out of there. You got to have good money, you have to have big money. California is big tech. California has Silicon Valley. They got Silicon Valley. All right. If you got Silicon Valley money and you connected to Silicon Valley, you can live in California and you can afford to live in California. You hear what I'm saying? And New York City is the same way. New York City the same way. New York City is the financial center of the United States. Hell, it is the financial center of the world. Okay, we talking about Wall Street. Wall Street. And people are being pushed out. People can't pay their rent. You got people every day are being turned into homelessness and all that kind of stuff, my brothers. That's what's happening in New York City. And so what you have is you got people who are migrating. They are migrating out of California. They're moving to Texas. Texas is a place, one of the popular states right now. They're moving to Texas, people from California, and people in New York City, they're moving to other states. They're moving further down the East Coast. So where are they going? They are coming to my place. They're coming to my neck of the woods. They're coming to North Carolina. They're also coming to South Carolina. They're also going down to Florida. Okay? All right, because things have changed. And here's the thing, brothers. Y'all hit that like up. Y'all hit the likes, y'all share, and y'all subscribe. I live in North Carolina. The cost of living is the envy of the world. It is the envy of the world, my brother. The cost of living. And there are people who are coming here. All right. You've got Raleigh, North Carolina. You have Durham, North Carolina. You have Greensboro, North Carolina. You got Charlotte, North Carolina. You got Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You have these various places in North Carolina that's sucking in all these people. High level professionals, people with high education, people with high skills, all sorts of things. All right. Now, the government is doing what it needs to do to regulate the transformations because they don't want North Carolina to become like New York City. They don't want North Carolina to become like California. But here's the point. Here's the point. The videos, my brothers, and thank you again for that, Rashid Barnes. Y'all get the likes up. Y'all get the likes up. Y'all get the likes up. Share. Y'all subscribe. Y'all share and subscribe. The videos I showed y'all some stuff from Winston-Salem. I showed y'all some stuff from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I got some stuff from Durham. I'm sorry, not Raleigh. Hold on, Raleigh. Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina. I showed y'all stuff from Raleigh, North Carolina. I showed y'all some stuff from Durham, North Carolina. I showed y'all stuff from Winston. I got some videos from Greensboro that I'm gonna load up as well. And the reason why I did that, my guys, is because when I'm stateside, when I'm not traveling, okay, and I love to travel, and I got some travel plans for the summer. I got my passport ready. We're gonna be going passport bros. Passport bros, passport bros, passport bros. We are on, we are ready. We are making it live. That's right. We are living out loud. Living out loud. This is going to be a passport summer. Let me give me a little sip. But here's the thing, brothers. Here's the thing. You got to have fun. You got to have fun. You got to have fun. You got to enjoy your life, my brothers. Y'all get the likes up. You got to enjoy your life. Have some fun. Get outside, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I live in a state, and North Carolina is a beer state. It's a brewery state. It's a wine state too. It majors in wine, it majors in beer. It's got breweries, it's got wineries and all that kind of stuff. It has vineyards all over the place. You understand what I'm saying? And you have, entertainment entrepreneurs. You see what I'm saying? And I make it a priority to get out the house. I make it a priority to get out the house and have some fun. All right. BMH, Black Men's Happiness. Black Men's Happiness. And I said this to you earlier this week in my short 5-minute video that you need to enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Don't be confined to the house. You guys, I don't want you guys to be, I don't want you guys, you follow me, you hear this? I don't want y'all to be confined to these phones. Don't be confined to these phones. Get out into the world, deal with people, be social, be pro-social, do all those things. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you need to be doing. At least that's what I'm promoting. That's black men's happiness, BMH. And you see it. I take my camera with me. I keep my camera with me. Whenever I go out, I take my camera. I take my camera. Oh, Jizzle, thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat, $5. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you, man. I take my camera with me because you never know. You never know what you'll see whenever you are out on the scene. You never know. You never know. And I do it. And I talk to people. I don't care. I don't care. Some people are eager to talk. Some people are eager to talk. You put that camera in their face and you say, listen, what do you think about this or whatever? Some people are eager to talk and they'll gladly oblige you. And then there are other people, you know, they give you the gas face and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But here's the point, my guys. Here is the point. Here is the point. The point I'm trying to make to you guys is to get out of the house, okay? And have some fun or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Because here's the thing. We ain't, on my page, we ain't incels. I'm going to talk about these incel in the incel report, the stuff that the Secret Service has put out and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to talk about my appearance last week on TLA show, the lead attorney, and you know, you have this report, you got these guys, they call them involuntary celibates and all this kind of stuff. And some of these guys are very, very extreme. They're very extreme. And I'm gonna tell you why they're extreme. They're extreme because they were raised without fathers. They were raised without strong men in their lives. They were raised under the regime of gynocentrism. They never, ever, 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 ever took it upon themselves to learn masculinity and manhood on their own. Okay, they have some issues. All of them are not like that. All of them are not like that now. Because I want to say this: not all incels are crazy. Not all incels are extreme and off the chain like that. Okay, and here's what you need to know: the idea of an incel that was created by a woman. That's a female idea. That's a females. You had females who created feminists, all right, who called themselves incels. And that term was imposed on men, or they took it up. Y'all go look it up. Y'all look up, y'all do the genealogy of the term incel. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on that. But the point I'm making right here, my guys, is that have some balance. It's important to have balance in your lives. All right. A lot of the stuff that we talk about, and I'm a scholar. I live in the scholarly world. Y'all have seen my videos and what have you, and you've seen that the stuff that I've talked about in terms of feminism and liberalism and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is very heavy and deep. You understand what I'm saying? And y'all see me, I team up with the Green Gorilla, I team up with Dr. T.S. Johnson, and we go for 1, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours even, talking about very, very deep things in terms of structures, in terms of policies, in terms of misandry, stuff that's very, very disconcerting, okay, when it comes down to black men's life. I see you, I'm listening, I'm seeing you. I see Flames number 2, Flames 2.0. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Dag now, but I see you. Good to see you. Good to see you in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And so I'm fortunate to live in this state, and I take advantage of it. And I get in my vehicle and I go all over the place and go different places. I do stuff in my own city and all that. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Do the doggone thing. All right. So what's going on? So listen. You see the title of the stream. Y'all see the title of this live stream? You see the title of the live stream. It's the Wild Wild West, brothers. It is the Wild Wild West. What is the Wild Wild West? What is the Wild Wild West? The world that we live in right now. The world that we live in right now is the wild, wild west. Okay. Last week, a week ago today, I spent over 4 hours on the lead attorney's channel. I was there for 4 hours. The lead attorney did the stream. I posted on my community tab. He did a 4 hour stream on the manosphere, and he asked the question, is this the end of the manosphere? And he addressed this thing about the incels and all this kind of stuff. And he also talked about the infighting, the conflicts, the things that are happening in this space among Black men in this space, all right? The arguments, the vitriol, the resentment, the contempt, what I regard as this the toxic competition, all right? The anti-blackness, a lot of anti-blackness here. There's a lot of self-hatred that is in here. We have a lot of they have a lot of self-hatred in our space. And here's the thing, my guys, the problem that we have, and I'm gonna say this, I said it on his show, and I'm gonna say it right here. The problem that we have is that we are dealing in a new space. This is a new arena. This is a new arena for all of us. This is a new a forum. We are speaking for the very first time in unprecedented way. What's up, Brandon Penn? Peace out to you. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that super chat, my brothers. We are dealing with something that is very, very new. And there are a lot of brothers, and I want to give a shout out to all the brothers. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your background is. All right. If you are a working class brother, if you are a lower middle class brother, if you are solid middle class brother, if you are upper middle class, if you are part of the 1%, it doesn't matter. If you are among the underclass, it does not matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. You're still a Black man, and you're still in this new terrain that is very, very new. It is new for the working class brothers to have a voice. It is new for the lower middle class brothers to have a voice. It is new for the middle class, the upper middle class, and even the ones who are at the very top, the 1%, to have a voice. All right. So contrary to popular belief, just because a man can be in the upper class, just because he's in the upper middle class or what have you, or middle class or what have you, doesn't mean that he just has all this type of freedom and all this kind of privilege. All right. Up until this point, you did not have professional Black men, all right, on the internet, people like myself showing their faces, talking explicitly and forthrightly about Black men's issue, all right? You didn't have that. And the reason why you didn't have that, because a lot of those guys, and I will include the lead attorney. The lead attorney, let me tell y'all something about the lead attorney, guys. The lead attorney, and I didn't say this on this program, the lead attorney could not do what he is doing right now 10 years ago. He could not do what he is doing right now 10 years ago when he was an active attorney. He's a retired dude now. He said, man, this guy, he's a businessman. He's okay. He said, he done told y'all that he said he's comfortable and all that kind of stuff. He ain't got to worry about nobody trying to destroy his profession or his career and all that kind of stuff. He ain't even worry about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, he would have to worry. He would have to worry about that. 10 years ago, you could not. An attorney, here's the thing, 10 years ago, an attorney could not come onto these platforms and talk forthrightly about child support, the family court system, divorce, marriage, and alimony the way in which he's doing right now. It couldn't happen 10 years ago, okay? And the proof of that is because you had people such as Tommy, y'all know Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor was doing that stuff over 10 years ago. And he caught a whole bunch of hell. He caught a whole bunch of stuff talking about child support and talking about divorce and talking about alimony and talking about all these things. Okay? There was a book that was written 10 years ago. There was a book that was written 10 years ago by a white female psychologist. Her name is Helen Smith. Helen Smith is a white female psychologist. When y'all get a chance, y'all Google, or rather, y'all in YouTube, You can Google her, or you can go to your YouTube search engine and look for Dr. Helen Smith. She wrote a book over 10 years ago called Men on Strike. Men on Strike. And when you go back to her videos, she talks about it. She talked about men checking out of marriage, men checking out of dating, men checking out of relationships, men engaging in a silent protest in reaction to the negative policies and the negative culture that pathologizes, demonizes men, that negative culture that is driven by the hatred of men, or what we know as misandry. So nobody could do that. And she talks about it. That was over 10 years ago. But now these issues are commonplace. They're commonplace, and it's growing, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Y'all see Mr. Palmer. Y'all see Mr. Palmer doing his videos on child support. Y'all see Mr. Palmer going ham on it in his videos. Y'all see that. Y'all see that. Now, 10 years ago, that couldn't have happened. What is the point that I'm trying to make? What is the point? Is that this is new. This is new, this is new, this is new. And this is the first time that many of us have had a voice that was not censored, a voice that was not restricted. You understand what I'm saying? Not restricted. You understand what I'm saying? And the brothers, and I'm gonna give a shout out to the brothers who helped create this space. I'm gonna give a shout out to Angry Man. Angry Man's peace out to you, my brothers. We appreciate the work that you've done, man. We appreciate you. I remember all the car videos, brother. I remember all the car videos that you did, and I remember all of the intellectual work that you did, talking about child support and all that kind of stuff. We remember all that kind of stuff, man. We remember all that kind of stuff. Give a shout out to Obsidian. I give a shout out to Obsidian Mumia Ali. Ghetto user 49, thank you for that, man. Thank you for that $10. That super chat, man. We give a shout out to you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Here's the thing, guys. Barry Little, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I remember Obsidian. I remember the old man. I remember the old man came out. That was back in the days when he had the hat on, and he was just dressing regular, and he had the shades on and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was, heavier than what he is now. You know what I'm saying? And our old man focused on the everyday brother. Old man, the citizen journalist, writing for a voice for men. All right. And I had read his stuff way back then, the stuff he was putting on Voice of Men, working with Paul Elam and everything like that. You understand? And he was laying it down, and he was doing those videos focused on black men's issues from the standpoint of a working class man. The standpoint of a working class man, black man. And then you had O'Shea. O'Shea. Give a shout out to O'Shea, man. Give a shout out to O'Shea, man. I'm gonna give a shout out to O'Shea. O'Shea, we remember the ghetto videos, man. We remember the ghetto videos, man, before the celebrity junk. Before it. Do y'all remember them videos? Some of y'all who've been around long enough to remember this kind of stuff. O'Shea sitting in a room, a college dorm, or wherever he was in Poland, with a t-shirt on, a tank top. With the big old microphone, with his microphone. O'Shea had his big old microphone hollering and screaming. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? I remember that. And I watched those videos. You understand what I'm saying? And then I can't forget BGS Idmore, Black Gnostic Speaks, who was putting down those videos, talking about Moynihan and talking about E. Franklin Frazier, talking about the Kerner report, talking about many of the things that have become his signature style, talking about all those things. I remember those things. We remember that stuff. So I give a shout out to all these brothers, man. All these brothers. And you fast forward, about 3 years ago, my brother, Dr. T.S.Son Johnson, he decided after making appearances, after making appearances on Obsidian's show, after making appearances on BGS's Coliseum, when BGS did them 8 hour long live streams broadcasted from California. I remember. And then Dr. T.S. Johnson went and he put the Onyx Report on YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? And he and I have been friends. We have been connected through Dr. Tommy J. Curry. Tommy J. Curry is the one who one of the catalysts that connected all of us together. And Tommy J. Curry, I connected with him back in 2012, 2013. All these brothers. And you're right, Tim Howard, you have Black Ram. Tim Howard is absolutely right. You have Black Ram 313 laying it down, doing this thing. All those guys were doing those things, guys. So we give a shout out to all those guys and what they have contributed to the space. You understand what I'm saying? But now things have changed. They have evolved and what have you. We got more people in here, newer voices. You got guys who call themselves red pill, new red pill. You got the old red pill or whatever. And you got the blue pill people up in here. You got the purple pill people up in here. You got the blue pillars and the purple pillars. The Lapeef Network, that's a blue pill, blue pill, blue pill. They doing blue pill stuff. And these conversations and everything like that. And things right now are undergoing rapid change. There's a shift. There's something happening. And I came on the scene. I came on the scene in 2020, September 2020, during the presidential election. And my focus at that particular time, and it's still there, was politics, Black men and politics here in the United States. But here's what we have to say, guys. Here's what we got to say. Here's what has to be said. Here's what has to be said. There's tension between us. There's tension among us. But here's the deal. This space is unregulated. The internet, the way we know it, this manosphere, the sphere, the YouTube, all this kind of stuff, how we're doing it and people coming in, it's unregulated. Does YouTube have its censoring mechanism? Yes, YouTube has its censoring mechanisms. Has YouTube had censoring mechanisms in the past? Yes, it had them. But YouTube is not engaging in the type of censorship that it once did before in the past. Okay? All right. Here's the deal. Because the men's stuff, the men's content that was here over 10 years ago, it's still here. If YouTube was really interested in getting rid of men's content, it would have destroyed it a long time ago altogether. All men's content. But YouTube understands that men's content is popular, men's content is growing, men's content is now influencing, it is seeping over into the mainstream. Men's content makes money. It makes money. That's the big thing right there. And so YouTube is not going to be as apt and be as quick to shut this thing down as it was back in 2010, 2011. Y'all get the likes up. We got 57 people up in the house. We got 57 people up in the house. 57 people in the house. I'm glad that you all are here. Like, share, and subscribe. If you are new, like, share, and subscribe. But here's the thing, guys. This is the Wild Wild West. It's unregulated. It's the Wild Wild West. It is the OK Corral. And what does that mean? That means that anybody can come into this world and set up shop. Anybody who has a camera, anybody who has a computer, anybody who has a smartphone, anybody who has the wherewithal to be public and to articulate their views. It doesn't matter what their views are. Anybody who has the unction to do that can do that, okay? And there is very little that can be done to stop it, to quench it, all right? And that's true even with the women. Even with the women, people have talked about the women, and let me make this clear. I want to make this clear because I said this on TLA's channel. I said this on TLA. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with women coming in here setting up shop. And I give you an example. So you have Concrete Rose and you have Danielle George. They got the breakdown. They got the breakdown. You have Jessica X. You got Chantel Simone. You got Danica Marie. You got Pink Book Lessons. Shout out to Pink Book Lessons. I like her work. You got Dee Dee. All right. You got a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of women out here. All right. You got Melanie King. She's a new person who's exploding. You got a whole bunch of women who are out here who are talking about men-oriented ideas and concerns and what have you. Women out here trying to rehabilitate the 304s. Women out here trying to communicate the necessity of male-female relationships, and that men are not toxic, men are not your enemy, and that it's beneficial, more beneficial to be in a healthy relationship with men or a man than it is to be in opposition to men. And you got the Crimson Cure. Thank you, Hybrid Ninjas. You also shout out to Kendra to Kendra and the Crimson Cure. Shout out to her. I ain't got no problem with them. I don't have no problem. I don't have a problem with them coming in and doing their thing. I believe in freedom. I believe in free speech. I embrace it. I'm a libertarian in that regard. They can do it. They want to talk about men and men's content. If they want to take talking points from men's platforms that deal exclusively with men, they want to take those talking points and they want to twist them and do whatever they want to do with them. They can do it. I ain't got no problem. Let them do it. And the reason why I don't have a problem with that is because this is a unlimited terrain. It is unlimited. It's an unlimited terrain, the territory. There are no boundaries here. There are no boundaries. There are no boundaries. And the problem that what we do is that we want to put boxes. We want to put boxes on our voices and boxes on what we do. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all know that this space right here is geared towards Black men's independence. It is geared towards BMI. It is geared towards Black men's agency, BMA. It is geared towards Black men's empowerment, BME. And it is geared towards Black men's happiness, BMH. That's what this space, my channel is. My channel, the content that I produce right here is by and for Black men. Now, if anybody else comes up in here, if a woman comes and she wants to take and consume the content or whatever, she can do that. If a white male wants to come in here, or if an Asian male, Latino male, if they attach themselves to the content and they want to affirm the content, they can do it. They can do it. They can do it if they want to. But what's not going to happen is that no one's going to come here and dictate the nature of the content. No one is going to tell me how to run this channel. And I'm not the only one. No one is going to tell Dr. T.S. Johnson. Dr. T.S. Johnson has been doing the honors report, about 3 years now. No one is going to tell Dr. T.S. Johnson what to put on his channel. No one is going to tell him what to talk about. Okay? No one's going to do that. And no one's going to do Green Gorilla that way. No one's going to do Dennis Sperling that way. No one's going to do BGS Ibmore that way. Anybody. But this is the Wild Wild West, guys. This is the Wild Wild West. Y'all see the thumbnail? I got that thumbnail from the movie Posse. That old classic Western movie made by Mario Van Peebles back in 1993. 1993. And see, what you got to understand, here's the thing, is that we are cowboys. We are cowboys in this Wild Wild West, man. We are cowboys. You understand what I'm saying? And see, in the West, see, What made the West wild was the fact that there was no central authority. That's what made the West wild. That's what made the West wild. When you read about the frontier, people went into the frontier before California was what it was, before Texas was what it was, before Nevada was what it was, before Louisiana was what it was, before the entire, what we know was the West Coast, before all that stuff was what it was. Arizona, that was just frontier. It was just open space, all right, for anybody. And we cowboys. We are cowboys in this space. Now, what I want to say about the fact that this thing is decentralized, and here's the thing. When you live in a decentralized place, that means that there's no such thing as a big man. There's no such thing as a HNIC. There's no HNIC. Ain't no Suge Knight. Here's the thing. There's no Suge Knight. There's no Suge Knight. There's no Suge Knight that runs what we do. We agree together. We have this thing that we collectively embrace as the Black Manosphere, but there's no Suge Knight. Ain't no Suge Knight. There's no death records trying to destroy everybody. Ain't no Suge Knight. Things have been decentralized for men, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that things are decentralized. That means that you have more freedom to move. You have more freedom to grow. You have more freedom to expand. And what I want to say to you guys, I want to say, get the likes up, y'all share, y'all like, to subscribe. It's 6:53 on a Friday night. This is Friday Night Live. You see this book right here? Y'all see this book right here? You see this book right here? This book is about globalization. It's a short introduction to globalization. This is globalization. Y'all look up the concept of globalization, and y'all see this book. Y'all see the author right here. Globalization. And that's what globalization is about. Now, everybody is happy about globalization. Globalization is simply the basic concept that you live in a world without borders. You live in a world without borders. We live in a world where people are constantly coming into contact. People are coming in contact with ideas. People are coming in contact with products. The market is globalized. Technology is a part of globalization, man. So you got people who are in the United States, they're selling goods and services to people in China, in Africa, in the Caribbean, New Zealand, Mexico, all over the place. And you got people from the United Kingdom who are selling products and ideas to people here in the United States and to other parts of the world. You got the Chinese. The Chinese sell stuff to us all the time. We are dependent on the Chinese for products. That's about globalization. There's no boundaries. And not everybody is happy about globalization. Not everybody is happy about globalization because globalization, here's the thing, my brothers, globalization, because there are no boundaries, globalization means that you're going to have people who are threatened. You're going to have people who are threatened by the possible collapse, the possible disintegration of those things that they hold dear. That's it. That's it. And I'm going to give you an example of globalization. So y'all know, y'all not 9/11. Y'all know about 9/11. You know about terrorism. You know about Islam in the West and all that kind of stuff. And Muslims, there are billions of Muslims. There are billions and billions and billions of Muslims all over the world. All over the world. And not all Muslims are the same. Billions. But you got a small population, a very small population of people under the banner of Islam who don't like globalization. They don't like it. They don't like it. And these are the folks who engage in the bombings and acts of terror and all this kind of stuff. Why? Because they're trying to preserve a certain understanding of Islam. And they have a hard time with the West. They have a hard time with Western capitalism. They have a hard time with Western popular culture. They have a hard time with McDonald's and Burger King. They have a hard time with stuff being exported from Western societies over into their part of the world. They have a hard time with it, and they're resisting it. They have a hard time with it. Feminism has been exported. Feminism has been exported all over the world. Feminism has been exported to Africa. It has been exported all over the world. And you have people who are trying to protect their boundaries and their borders. And they have good reasons for doing so. But the reality is that there's only so much that you can do to protect your little bubble. There's only so much you can do to protect it. There's only so much. And the reason why I put that example out here, the reason why I'm putting this example out here is, guys, globalization means that nothing is protected. Globalization means that nothing is sacred. Globalization means that nobody has ultimate control over anything. That's why we've had so much pushback. That's why we have so much pushback from certain voices, female voices, to what we're doing right here in this space called the Black Manosphere. That's why. Because those ideas from the gynocentrists, those ideas, those misandrist ideas, for such a long time, misandry, anti-Black misandry has gone unchecked. It has gone unscrutinized. And there was a time that if you challenged the people who engage in misandry, all right, you would suffer the consequences of their wrath. They would do all kinds of stuff to tear you down. But because we have the internet, and because this thing has grown and continues to expand, and because we have social media, and because people are talking all over the world, these people cannot, they can no longer protect their little territories. So you have people like a Jamel Hill talking about Black men and having podcasts and all that kind of stuff. She's complaining she can't do anything about it. She can't do anything about it because there's the pushback, because of globalization. You can't stop Black men from having podcasts. There's no way. You can't stop that. You cannot stop Black men from having podcasts and talking to black men, talking to other Black men in the US, Black men talking to other Black men in other parts of the world. You can't stop it. So these gynocrats who want to protect their image, they want to protect their image, and they want to call us misogynist, and they want to call us dangerous, and they want to call us dusty, and they want to call us toxic and all that kind of stuff. You know, they want to protect all that. They can't protect it no more. And no one is trying to guard that stuff. No one is trying to protect it. That's what globalization does. And globalization means that we can't go back. We can't go back to a romanticized past. We cannot go back to an imagined world, the world that we thought existed 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. We can't do it. We can't do it because globalization has already done its work. It's already done its work, guys. Hit the likes. I need y'all to share. I need y'all to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. And I'll give you another example, guys. So Christianity. Christianity was once the most dominant religion on the planet. Christianity was once the most dominant religion on the planet. Christianity, Catholicism, and Protestant Christianity, they were once the things that held everybody together. It didn't matter where you came from. Christianity was once the big dog. It was number one religion on the planet that controlled everything. It controlled nations. It controlled politics. It controlled economics. All those things. Christianity no longer controls the world. I want y'all to get this in your mind. This is because of globalization. Globalization. Christianity has to compete with other ideas. Christianity has to compete with Islam. It has to compete with indigenous religions. It has to compete with atheism. It has to compete with secularism. It has to compete with popular culture. Christianity is no longer the big dog. It does not control everything. The churches are no longer big dogs. The preacher is no longer a big dog. When you look at black people in this country, when you look at black people still go to church. There are black people who are still Christians. But the preachers have no control over black people and black culture. 70 years ago, preachers, black preachers, 70 years ago, black preachers, Baptist preachers, Pentecostal preachers, Methodist preachers, all sorts of preachers, 70 years ago, they had a lot of pull. They had a lot of weight. They had a lot of weight on black culture. They had a lot of weight on black youth, black kids. They had a lot of weight. But black churches don't have that kind of pull anymore. The black preachers don't have that kind of pull anymore. Why? Because the black preachers have to compete. They got to compete with secularism. They got to compete with popular culture. They got to compete with the rappers. And I've been saying this for almost 30 years, that rap music, hip hop was the number one thing that became the number one competitor of the black church. Hip hop. Hip hop became the number one competitor of the black church. It became the number one competitor of black preachers. And decades later, hip hop is still strong, and it still has more influence on the minds of youth than black preachers and black churches and their mamas. The mamas who go to church. And technology just makes it more difficult for churches to compete. It makes it difficult. So we can't go back to that world. This is the wild, wild west, guys. This is the wild, wild west. Y'all get the likes up. Y'all share, you subscribe. If you were here for the very first time, if you've been sitting in the shadows, I need you to subscribe to this channel. I need you to like. Michael Green, thank you for that $5 super chat. Thank you for that. The Cash App. Thank you for the Cash App, Michael Green. Thank you for that Cash App, brother. We can't go back to the old world. And what does that mean, guys? What does that mean? What does that mean for us in this black manosphere? What does that mean? And this is hard. This is hard. This is hard for some guys to really absorb. There are a lot of guys out here, and I need y'all to be honest about this. There are a lot of guys who really yearn. There are a lot of guys who come here and they really yearn. They really yearn to have a traditional relationship with a woman. There are a lot of guys who still yearn. There are a lot of guys who still yearn for that traditional relationship with a woman. You are yearning for a traditional patriarchal relationship with a woman. And you're yearning for a patriarchal nuclear family. You're still yearning for that. You want that. A lot of you guys. You can be working class, you can be middle class, you can be lower middle class, you can be upper middle class, you name it. You still yearn for it. You want that traditional nuclear family where you lead your family and she follows your children, they follow your lead and all of that. You want a marriage, you got to be honest about it, A lot of guys want marriage. That's why one of the reasons why we talk about marriage so much, because deep down these guys really, 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 they want to be in a marriage. They want to be in a relationship, and that's fine. Thank you, Intelligent Risk Takers Network. Thank you, Intelligent Risk Takers Network. Good to have you here. Glad to have a first-time viewer, listener, what have you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Share this content. Share this content. We appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. People yearn for that. But I have to be honest with you guys. I have to be honest with you guys. I got to be honest with you. Y'all hit the Cash App, BMI, $3000, Cash App, $BMI 3000, Cash App, BMI 3000. Thank you, Tim, for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for posting that. $. You got to put the Cash App out there. Thank you for the Cash App. A lot of guys still yearn for a traditional situation. And I have to tell you, my brothers, I have to tell you, brothers, due to globalization, and due to feminism, which is a part of globalization, and liberalism, and secularism, and really, globalization is really a secularizing force. It's a secularizing force. Liberalism is a secularizing force. Feminism is a secularizing force. What do I mean by what do I mean by a secularizing force? That is that it has disrupted traditional authority. So that traditional household, that traditional construct that lots of men yearn for, it has a religious foundation. It's supported by the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It's also supported by other traditions across the world. But in the Western world, we're talking about Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which have upheld that traditional notion of a patriarchal marriage. You go into the Bible, and you see Abraham. He has a wife. His wife is Sarah. He has a son who he had with his slave. They have a slave called Hagar. Hagar has a son named Ishmael. And then Sarah has a son named Isaac. It's in the book of Genesis. You look at you look at the whole account of Abraham in the book of Genesis, from Genesis chapter 11 to Genesis chapter 2. It's all about Abraham. Okay. And that stuff has shaped a lot of the world. It has shaped Catholicism, it shaped Protestant Christianity, all that kind of stuff. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, my brothers, but that stuff ain't coming back. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And here's the thing: liberalism and feminism and secularism altogether have effectively destroyed nuclear families. They have effectively destroyed the traditional family. They have effectively destroyed it. They've destroyed it. Why do I say that they have destroyed it? Because only a small percentage of the population lives out that whole nuclear idea. Only a small percentage of the population. Only a small in America. And most of the folks who live out that most of the people who live out the nuclear idea, the idea of a nuclear family, they tend to be up here in terms of the income scale. They're your higher ups. Mainly your upper middle class and your 1%. Mainly. Not exclusively, but mainly. Mainly, but not exclusively. They've destroyed it. So being a patriarch Being a patriarch, that's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking. A long-time patriarch, that's wishful thinking. And I said this to you guys in one of my streams. I said this to you guys on one of my streams called She Does Not Belong to You. She does not belong. She doesn't belong to you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. When it comes to, I'm shocked, but thank you for it. Thank you for that. I appreciate the support. PayPal. You can hit me up on PayPal. Ronald B. Neal. PayPal me, Ronald B. Neal. Thank you for that, GG. Zero money down. We appreciate it, man. I did a stream some weeks ago. Cash App $ BMI 3000 called She Does Not Belong to You. She does not belong to you. She doesn't belong to you. She doesn't belong to you. She doesn't believe in the patriarch. She doesn't believe in patriarchy. She does not want patriarchy. She resists patriarchy. She hates patriarchy. She hates your patriarchy. She hates your patriarchy. She don't want a black patriarch. She don't want a black man to tell her what to do. She does not want a black man to tell her what to do. The welfare state has incentivized her to not follow a black man. The family court system has incentivized her to not follow a black man. Corporate America has incentivized her to not follow a black man. The entire edifice of American capitalism, Western capitalism, the way it is structured right now, allowing women to work, make their own money, to live by themselves, to be single, to raise children without men around, that entire structure has incentivized these women to be in opposition to black men, black heterosexuality, and the idea of a black man being an authority figure in the household, the black men being an authority figure as a husband, as a father. Thank you, Ray Knowles. Thank you, Ray Knowles. Thank you, Ray Knowles, for that. She does not belong to you. She doesn't belong to you. Globalization, liberalization, the liberalization of society. She doesn't want to be a wife. She doesn't want to be a wife. She barely wants to be a mother. She barely wants to be a mother in the traditional sense. She is an individualist. She is an individualist. Do you hear me? If y'all hear me, put 2 in the chat if you hear me. She is an individualist. She is an egoist. She is a liberal individualist. Her individual desires, her individual pleasures come before anything else. They even come before her own children if she has children. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, Ray Knowles. We shouting out all the brothers, all the brothers. Bartender, thank you for that, man. We appreciate you, bartender. We appreciate you, man. She is an individualist. She's caught up in Western individualism. Western individualism. Rugged Western individualism. The systems that she participates in has turned her into that. But does she really exist as an individual when you really put things under close analysis? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't, because she's dependent on the system. She's dependent on corporate America. She's dependent on that corporate job. She's dependent on the family courts to regulate things. She's dependent on the welfare state. She's dependent on other systems. She's dependent. She ain't dependent on you. That's the point. She's not dependent on you. She's not dependent on me. And she's been incentivized to not be dependent. She does not want to have a traditional family. She does not want to have a family that looks like Abraham, Sarah, and their children. Abraham, Sarah, Hagar, Isaac, and Ishmael. She don't want that. She don't want it. Thank you, bartender, for that. Thank you, electrician, 480. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Friday night, guys. This is Friday Night Live, and we're talking about the Wild Wild West. We're talking about the Wild Wild West, guys. This is the world that we're living in. This is the world that we live in. There are no central authorities. GG, money down. Thank you for that. I see that. $10 PayPal. We appreciate you, man. Peace out. It finally came through, brother. We see that. She's an egoist. Things have been decentralized. Decentralized, my guys. No authority. He said, when you have women who are actively pushing, when you have women who are educated and women who are not educated, he said, when you have women who are out here educated and not educated, women who got kids, and they're talking about sex positivism, and they're talking about prostitution, and they're encouraging prostitution, and they're encouraging the city girl stuff, they're encouraging the stallion stuff. You got these women listening to Meg the Stallion and the city girls, Meg the Stallion, and they encourage that, and they think that that's liberation. These are people who have no code of morality. They have no code of morality. There is nothing that governs their lives. They are driven by their flesh. They are hedonistic. They're hedonist, unregulated hedonist. When you are driven fundamentally by your base desires, and you couple your base desires with making money and looking like a hot girl, you are a hedonist. Getting the bag. Hedonism. They have no moral code. No moral code that has ever been respected in the history of humanity. That's what globalization has done. And there are major consequences when you have no central authority, when there are no authorities. When you kill the father, when you destroy the authority of a father pervasively across cultures, what you have is the Wild Wild West. It's the Wild Wild West. Philosophically, we call it relativism. It's relativism. Anything goes. That's what it is. Anything goes. Anything goes. Anything goes. There are no boundaries. That's what globalization kind of does. And that's why globalization is being resisted all over the world in different places. I'm gonna tell you, China, the Chinese are not, they're not big fans of globalization. The Chinese. The Chinese are not big fans of globalization. The Chinese are doing everything within their power to fight off what they regard as the decadent influence of Western culture. They're doing everything to fight off the monstrosities of Western culture. They don't want their cultures to collapse. They have a culture that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Thousands of years. A culture, thousands and thousands of years of tradition. They don't want that to collapse. So they regulate. North Korea regulates. They regulate. North Korea, Kim Jong Jr., Kim Jong Jr., he regulates. Vladimir Putin in Russia, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, he regulates. He regulates. Y'all see, do you see what happened to Brittany Griner? Do you see what's happening to Brittany Griner? Brittany Griner. Y'all see the Brittany Griner case? She's in detention right now. The basketball player, the WNBA detention. She's in detention in Russia. She's in detention. Do you know why? Do you know why she's in detention? She's in detention because Russia doesn't want all these Western influences in their societies. And they will put you in jail if you are perceived as someone who will corrupt their society. And this is why there's so much tension between the so-called Islamic world and the Western world. Saudi Arabia does not want to be like America. Iran does not want to be like America. Afghanistan, the Taliban control Afghanistan, Taliban control Afghanistan. They don't want to be like America. But here's the deal. It's impossible to exist in isolation, guys. It is impossible to live in complete isolation. In other words, you cannot hide up under a rock and think that you're not going to be influenced by globalization and all these forces. You can't think that you're not going to be, or it's not going to come knock on your door. It's going to knock on your door. The Western influence, although China is resisting, it's already knocking. The West is already, knock, 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 knock. It's knocking on their door. It's knocking. And it's irreversible. This stuff is irreversible, guys. It's irreversible. Awakened Black heterosexual. It's irreversible. And these romanticized ideas that we have, here's the thing. Thank you, Awakened Heterosexual. These romanticized ideas that we have, mostly Black men, these are Black men. Because if you notice, I want y'all to notice something. I want you guys to notice something. Hit the Cash App, $BMI 3000, Cash App, $BMI 3000, Cash App, $3000. Y'all hit the PayPal me, Ronald B. Neal, PayPal me, Ronald B. Neal. we have a lot of guys who they believe that there was some type of golden age. They believe in the golden age. The black people in America had this golden age before 1970. I will say that black people were very different than what they are today. Black people before 1970, the black American before 1970 was very different from the black American that was produced after 1970. Very, very different. Very, very different. And what made black America different, and I've said this in prior videos, and I'm going to echo it and continue to say it again. What made it different is that black people had to band together in order to survive. It wasn't a paradise. It wasn't a utopia. Black people have always had differences amongst themselves. There's always been class differences amongst black people. There have been all sorts of differences among black people, geographical differences or regional differences. These differences have always existed. The difference between North and South and West. But black people lived in a hostile environment and they had a common threat. It was a common enemy. Black people, all black people, regardless of where you were, you had a common enemy. There was no such thing as black girl magic before 1970. It couldn't exist. It couldn't exist. A black woman couldn't talk about being independent. I'm strong, independent before 1970. It was impossible. Completely impossible. You lived in a black world that you were dependent on. You got married. You typically had children. You were part of an extended network. Men were encouraged to get married. Men getting married was a rite of passage for a man. It was a rite of passage. You got married as soon as you became an adult if you were a man. You got married at 18. You got married at 19. Some people got married at 17. You got married at 21, 24, whatever. You got married. It was a rite of passage if you were a man. You had Atlanta, you had Harlem, you had Chicago, you had Detroit, you had Columbia, South Carolina, you had Durham, North Carolina. You had Montgomery, Alabama, you had Jackson, Mississippi, you had New Orleans, Louisiana. You had Little Rock, Arkansas. You had St. Louis. You had Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Black people were forced to band together and survive together because they were all under a threat. There was a common threat: lynching, terrorism, everything, sexual violation, all those things, murder. And some of us are old enough to have had grandparents and aunts and uncles and even parents who lived in their world. They lived in that world. They were shaped by that world. Thank you, electrician, 480 for that. Oh yeah, it's killed it. Yeah, we're working on it. Thank you for that, electrician, 480. He says, globalization has killed the traditional family between Malthusianism, rather, and the feminist plans are working. Yep. But here's the deal: a lot of guys romanticize. A lot of guys romanticize. They idealize that world, and they want to kind of bring it back. They're attempting to bring stuff from that world back, particularly marriage and family. And people talk about their marriage rates. We were married at this level. The conservatives do this. This is what the conservatives have been, talking about for the longest. But it ain't coming back. It ain't coming back. You got to have a culture to make that happen. A culture. You have to have a culture in order to make those arrangements return. You got to have a foundation. And you have to have a code. You have to have a moral code, an agreed upon moral code for that to work. But there is no agreed upon moral code. There is no shared culture. Black culture is American culture. Black culture is Western culture. Right now, there's nothing really distinctive about Black culture. It's American culture. It's Western culture. Ain't nothing unique about Black culture. It's Western culture. It's a product. Black people are products of the West. And what globalization is doing, as it continues to do its work, it continues to unsettle the stuff that came from the past. Cash App, $ BMR 3000, Cash App, $ BMR 3000, PayPal me, want to be nil. Y'all get the likes up. We got 69 people who are watching this. 69 people. We're talking about the wild, wild West. It's the wild, wild West. Black man, you are a cowboy. You are a cowboy in the wild, wild West. You are a cowboy in the wild, wild West, and you're dealing with a culture of prostitution. You're dealing with a culture of prostitutes. Literal prostitutes and figurative prostitutes. That's the condition that you're dealing with, prostitution. You are a cowboy. You've walked into a saloon, and in the saloon, you see nothing but prostitutes. That's it. Y'all see the cowboy, y'all see the classic, those classic cowboy movies? The cowboy walks into the saloon, he got his guns and everything like that. And he walks up in there, he goes to the bar, they get him a drink, and as soon as he gets him a drink, a prostitute comes sit right next to him. She want to make some money. He might want to get down or whatever. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in. And you have to come to terms with it. It's hard. It's very hard. It's very hard for brothers. It is very hard for brothers to accept this reality. It's very hard. The lead attorney was trying to get a definition. The lead attorney was trying to get a definition of what the quote unquote red pill is all about. He said he didn't understand what, he said that there were too many definitions of a so-called red pill. And I basically told the lead attorney that the red pill is simply looking at the world for what it is. Looking at the world for what it is, accepting the world for what it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. That you live in a non-ideal world. You live in a non-ideal world. And you must accept the fact that you live, that's the red pill. You must accept the fact that you live in a non-ideal world. You have to come to terms with the fact. Y'all get the likes up. We got 72 people watching. You got to come to terms with the fact that we live in a non-ideal world. Now, here, and I have to say this to you guys. I got to say this to you, man. As a philosopher, as someone who teaches, who has taught philosophy and the history of religion and all that kind of stuff, the red pill notion is not unique. That's ancient. Looking at the world for what it is, looking at the world for what it is, that's an ancient sense. That's an ancient sentiment. That's been around for thousands of years. Thousands of years. You go back, you in the Western world, you go back to the Stoics. In the Western world, you go back to the Stoics. Stoicism preaches, Stoicism, the philosophy of Stoicism preaches that you look at the world the way it is, for what, and you take the world from what it is. Now, accepting the world for what it is doesn't mean that you can't act or you can't do anything. It doesn't mean that you're like in a prison or whatever. Accepting the world for what it is means that the starting point for what you do is reality. That's the starting point. What the starting point is reality. Everything flows from reality. So you don't start with these grandiose notions about patriarchy and the patriarchal family and all this kind of stuff, or these notions about how things are supposed to be between men and women. You begin with how things actually are with men and women. What's really happening between men and women in the world? What's really happening between human beings? Put men and women aside. What's really happening with human beings and human interactions? What's really happening when you're dealing with people from different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds, people from different geographies? What's really happening when you're interacting? What's really happening in your interactions with white people, white America? How are you truly interacting with white Americans? What are your true interactions with them? That's where you start. What are your true interactions with Latinos, Latinas? That's where you start. What are your true interactions with the bank, the banking system, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it? That's reality. And it was not only the Stoics are not the only ones, the Stoics are not the only ones who preached looking at the world for what it is. But the Buddha, he also preached looking at the world for what it is, dealing with the world as it presents itself to you. Because in Buddhism, you don't begin with metaphysics. Buddhism is about dealing with what's in front of you. That's Buddhism. What is going on? What's in front of you? That's Buddhism. Y'all get the likes up, y'all share, y'all subscribe. And why am I talking about this, guys? Because you have to have an orientation that's going to sustain you in the wild, wild west. An orientation that's going to keep you sane in the wild, wild west. In the wild, wild west. Some of you guys, y'all gonna be single forever. Some of you guys ain't gonna get married. Some of you guys not gonna have kids. Or you're not gonna have any more kids. And that's something that you have to come to terms with. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, forthright with you. And I've said this in other places in social media. When I was 25 years old, I thought that by the time I reached 40, I thought that by the time I reached 40 that I would be married, that I would have children. I believed that when I was 25 years old. And between 25 and 40, I went through a lot of women. Oh my God. Oh my God. But between 25 and 40, I had encounters with women that I considered marriage material. Consider. But I was unable to go there because, again, these mindsets that we're dealing with right now, they were alive when I was 25. Globalization was kicking in when I was 26, 27, 28. Black men were catching hell with all the misandry when I was 29 years old, 30 years old, 35. You had to deal with that. How do you meet a marriageable woman? Is this woman, is she marriageable? Are you gonna roll the dice and take risks with a woman whose marriageability is questionable? And I didn't take that risk. I've gambled in so many areas in my life, but that area, that marriage and all that kind of stuff, I ain't gambled with that. Not gambling with no marriage. So when I was 40 years old, I was still unmarried, no kids. And good. I'm glad. I worked overhand. Not having kids was deliberate, bro. That's why you brothers, y'all need to wear your condoms. Wear your condoms. He said, wear them condoms. Y'all wear them. Y'all wear the condoms, and buy the Plan B. Plan B condoms. She on birth control. She got her tubes tied and all that kind of stuff. Make sure all that stuff is in place. Don't be, you don't want to be on Mr. Palmer's show. You don't want to be on Mr. Palmer's show. I can't imagine. I didn't want to do it then. I don't want to do it now. Didn't want to do it. Fast forward, I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 in September. Still not married. Still no kids. Still deal with women. But I don't have no fantasy. I don't have no lofty ideas about, especially in the West. And I know I've talked about travel, and I want to continue. You guys, y'all promote, y'all go travel. You guys that don't have your passports, get your passport, and y'all travel and stuff like that. But remember now, no culture is immune to globalization. No culture. No culture is immune. I'm getting ready to go to an all-black culture, an all-black country this summer. I can't wait. I'll tell y'all more about it. It's gonna be a long trip. It's gonna be a long trip, brother. But stuff has been exported. So the point I'm trying to make to you guys is that you have to accept some certain things. You understand? And you know, when we say it is what it is, we really mean it. It is what it is. You out here, you dealing with 304s. The 304 psychology is real. 304s. 304. That's real. They're young and old. They're young and they old. That city girl stuff, there. You guys who want you guys who want women with low body counts, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. You got guys still out here talking about women's body counts. You got guys out here still talking about virgins. That's utopian. I just saw Kevin Samuels. I posted one of Kevin Samuels' videos that he did with a sexologist. Kevin Samuels did a video with a sexologist. Y'all go check that out. Y'all check out Kevin Samuels did this. Kevin Samuels did a video with a sexologist. It's 34 minutes long. And this female is a female sexologist. I couldn't watch the whole video. Because she started talking about female sexuality and they touched upon virginity and body counts and all that kind of stuff like that. Why women should have low body counts and why it's okay for a man to have a high body count, all that kind of stuff. And the other people have talked about this all over the space. You're not gonna find a virgin. I give up. There ain't no virgins out here. Okay? Let that body count stuff go. Let it go. These women have no incentive to be virgins. They have no incentive to not ride the cock, the CC. They have no incentive to not ride it. Let it go. It's utopian. Looking for a biblical virgin is utopian. Y'all, you know, you got guys. They trying to throw Bibles. They trying to throw the Bible and the Quran at these women. And you know it is. You know what happens when you try to throw a Bible or a Quran at a woman. Those women, they like Wonder Woman. They like Wonder Woman. They start deflecting. They Wonder Woman things on. That's what they do. Throw the Bible at her. She does this. Throw the Quran at her. She does this. Proverbs. She does this. Ain't no virtuous women out here. It's dead. It's gone. It ain't coming back. It ain't coming back. You better wear your condom. You better put a condom on. You don't want no babies. You don't want no diseases. Keep the condom on. You don't want a false. You don't want to get a false paternity. You don't want false paternity. She got you thinking that you're the only one that she's sleeping with. She got you thinking that you're the only one that she's sleeping with. And y'all done talked. And you taking the condom off. Only to find out that she's sleeping with somebody else the same way. And he ain't wearing a condom. And there might be a third person. And then she comes up pregnant. And you've been hitting it with no condom on. And and somebody else been hitting it. And another dude been hitting it. Who's she gonna put that baby on? Huh? Who? This is what we mean by looking at the world and taking in the world for what it is. This is it. This is the reality that you're living with. I'm not looking, guys, I'm not looking for the return of some glory days. I'm not looking for some revival of some mythological Black community. It's sad. Here's the thing, guys. It's sad. It is sad, guys. It is sad. It is sad. And do you know why it's sad? It's sad because the vast majority of Black people are dealing with deprivation. Look at all the children who are being raised exclusively by women. Look at all the children, man. Look at all the children who are being raised exclusively by women, and they are being deprived of male authority and male insight, male guidance. And we keep producing this generation after generation after generation after generation after generation after generation, and it's not getting any better. And it's sad to think that this condition is possibly irreversible. It's sad to think that. It's sad to think that every Black boy who is being raised in a female environment, female headed household, every Black male who was raised in those conditions has to figure it out for himself. That he got to find a way to climb out of that pit. He got to find a way to get out of that hole. If he's not being developed by that female family structure, he got to find a way to get out of there. If he wants to rise, if he wants to go up, he got to find a way. And he has to learn masculinity the hard way. He has to learn manhood the hard way. He got to figure it out, like I figured it out, through trial and error, through risk taking. He got to figure it out. And it's sad to think that this situation is possibly irreversible. And a huge part of the problem is that you have these women who are taking care of these children, and you have women who are coming along. They are staunchly committed to the idea that children don't need fathers. They're staunchly committed to Misandry's ideas about Black men. They uphold the idea that Black men are trash. They uphold the idea that Black men ain't ish. Black men are only good for sex. Black men are only good for sex. He's only good for procreation. So she will lay down, and she will allow you to lay down with her, and she will allow you to impregnate her. And once that baby comes, she cuts you out of the deal. She cuts you out. And here comes the next dude. Here comes the next dude. Same process over and over again. And the next dude. Now she got 3 different kids from 3 different fathers, and she cut all the fathers out. And she raising them with a bunch of women. And that cycle goes over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It happens. It's a hard pill to swallow, guys. I'm talking about being a cowboy, guys. I've got cash apps from Tereshia McCoy. Thank you for that cash app. Thank you for that. Again, thank you, Michael Green, for your cash app. But here's I want to leave you guys on a positive note because I've been talking for quite some time. I want y'all to be cowboys. And I want y'all to be smart cowboys. I want you to be smart cowboys. Listen. Listen, guys. Y'all know I have this, I've been talking about black male agency, black male happiness. The fact that things have been decentered means that you have been freed up. You have been freed up. You've been freed up. If you are a black guy, if you're 25 years old, if you're 30 years old, you're 35 years old, you're 40 years old, and let's say that you're unmarried, you don't have any kids, globalization has freed you up. Globalization has freed you up. Globalization has freed you up so that you can be a cowboy. Because remember, 70, 60 years ago, it was a rite of passage. Marriage was a rite of passage for a man. 70 years ago, having kids was a rite of passage for a man. Having a traditional family was something that made you a man. It wasn't the only thing now. It wasn't the only thing. Having a family, it wasn't the only thing. It was also work. It was also productivity and other kind of capacities. Thank you, Intelligent Risk Takers Network, for that. Yes, we are at a point of no return. It is what it is. You got to be a cowboy. I don't have to get married. I don't have to have any kids. I ain't worried about no legacy. People say, what about your legacy? Well, what about your legacy? What about your legacy? And what about generational wealth? I ain't worried about that. Marriage and kids at what cost? At what cost? You telling me I need to get married and have kids in this 304 culture, in this globalized culture, in this misandrous culture? You mean tell me that? Risk having kids only to go to Mr. Palmer and tell my story to Mr. Palmer on how my baby mama is giving me a whole bunch of headaches. Risk having kids only to go to the lead attorney and ask the lead attorney, what do I need to do under this child support system? Or to be like Kanye West, crying about his kids and Kim Kardashian. And you're right. You're right, Dollar Will. Dollar Will says legacy is information. My legacy is what I can pour out, yes, to other people, especially to men and young men who don't have it, who need it. I wish I had a manosphere when I was 20 years old. I wish I had one, a black manosphere. I wish I had a black manosphere at the age of 20, or at the age of 25, or at the age of 30. I had to get my wisdom in the mud. In the mud. I had to get my wisdom in the mud through trial and error. And I had men. I grew up when I was a kid. I always ran with guys who were much older than me. When I was a teenager, most of the guys I ran with were significantly older than me. So I got game from them. But their game wasn't enough. Their game wasn't enough because some of the stuff that they did was done out of misinformation. And I had to learn stuff on my own. I had to figure it out. When I went to school, when I got into the world of work, when I left home, when I left my home state, and that was the big thing, me becoming a man, I left my home state. I left my family, I left all my acquaintance, and I moved to a different state. And I moved from state to state, starting over. Yes, sir, free agent. You were freed up. You were freed up. I was 25. I lived in Tennessee when I was 25. Spent 5 years in Nashville, Tennessee. And before that, I was in Atlanta, Georgia. Spent 3 years in Atlanta, Georgia. After 5 years in Nashville, I moved to South Carolina. I moved to Columbia, South Carolina. So you got to figure this thing out. And you get with men. You get with men who have skills. You get with men who have insight. And you get the wisdom and instruction that you need to help you grow. Be a smart cowboy. Be a smart cowboy. Be a smart cowboy. Build yourself up. I'm able to do a lot of stuff that I do right now because I didn't get married. I want you to hear me. I'm able to do a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now because I didn't have kids. And I'm not, and I want the guys who are married, I want the guys who have kids. Listen, I respect you guys. You guys who have gotten married, and you have kids and all that. I respect it. If you've been able to have a solid marriage and family, for a long period of time, you know what? You won. You won. You won. You won. You won. You won. But for you guys who are not like that, you need to be a cowboy. Be a smart cowboy. Well, listen, guys, I don't want to take up all of your time. It's Friday night, man. I had to come here and talk about this wild, wild west. As I said, the lead attorney, he addressed it in his stream. I had never done I did a 4-hour stream. This was the longest stream I ever been on since I've been on YouTube. The longest stream with the lead attorney. I was on there for 4 hours. He asked me to stay. The lead attorney, I went up there and I figured I would just talk for 5 minutes or whatever, for a very, very short period of time. And the lead attorney asked me to stay on that stream for its duration. Thank you, Flames. Thank you, Flames, for that. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Flames. Thank you, Thank you for my brother. Thank you, Broken Blade. Thank you, Broken Blade. I want to get these super chats, cash apps, super chats. Thank you, Broken Blade. I did not plan on being on his stream, but lead attorney, he was like, Dr. Neil, would you stay the duration of the stream? And I'm like, sure. I know his streams are long, but I didn't know that stream was going to go over 4 hours. But anyway, at any rate, we were talking about the Wild Wild West the whole time, basically. It's been a good Friday night, fellas. It's been a good Friday night. And I'm glad that you guys came out and you watched the stream and you are part of this conversation. Thank all you guys who contributed vis-a-vis Cash App and Super Chat and PayPal. Okay. I started the stream by talking about Black men's happiness, having some fun, enjoying yourself, and what have you, and not getting bogged down with uh, the negative things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis as Black men, and all of the propaganda that we have to encounter. Be happy, and you know, y'all look for more. You all look for more happiness material from me, because I do it. I do it. It's not just, you know, for my YouTube channel. I do it for myself, man. I do it for myself. I got to have some balance in my life. I got to have some fun. I got to get out the house. I get out of the house. And I get out. I get in my truck and I do what I got to do here stateside. Salute to you, Tarek Thomas. Salute to you, my brothers. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat, my brother. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, listen, brothers, I'm going to sign off for tonight. I appreciate all the support. BMH, my brothers. Or shall I say, BMI. This stream is brought to you by way of Black Men's Independence, BMI, Black Men's Agency, BMA, Black Men's Empowerment, BME, and Black Men's Happiness, BM H rather. And y'all know who I am. I am the Mad Professor. I am the Mad Professor signing out. I will see you on the next stream, brothers.